Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do February's plan with me in my bullet journal, and this month's theme is beaded friendship bracelets. This theme immediately started chaotically because, as you can see, pretty much right when I started filming, this happened. Ugh. That is so ear-piercing. It's just funny to me because I knew my apartment was going to test the fire alarms at some point, either this day or the next, and it just so happened to be this moment that they chose to do the testing. So yes, that's also why I'm being so chill about it and why I'm just continuing journaling and ignoring it. Anyway, I'm starting off making the February beads, and I decided to make them colored so that they'd stand out a little more. I also made these the only beads that connected on a visible string, and I don't know, I sort of regretted both of these decisions. I wanted the February beads to be a little scattered, but then I just felt like that made the string look weird, but it is what it is, and I definitely think I have just looked at this too long now. For all the colors, I used various Tombow dual brush markers, and I'm using a Jelly Roll white gel pen in 1-0 to write the letters in that classic capital letters we see on lettered beads. The beads looked really soft to me, so I thought adding the white would soften it too. But I did end up questioning myself and had some fun with my Instagram followers, asking them in a poll if I should go over the white lettering with black, but majority voted to keep it white, so that's what I did. Maybe one day I'll be more confident and not talk about two things that I don't like about what I made in the first 5 minutes of the video, but for now, this is the reality. I'm going in a little bit of a weird order here because I knew I wanted to draw two large beaded bracelets where they're going over the spine of the journal and onto the other page, but I wasn't quite sure if I was going to keep going with drawing large bracelets, which, spoiler alert, I do end up doing. But until we get there, I'm skipping ahead to the left side of the page where I'm making a calendar spread. I'm drawing colorful beads with white lettering again, but this time it says calendar, and I didn't put them on a string or make the beads scattered for this because I didn't love how that turned out with the February title. And although I haven't used a lot of black yet and everything is very soft looking right now, I definitely want to add black because when I eventually write more letters throughout this theme, I want to use that classic letter bead that we see with the white background and bold black lettering. So I'm kind of introducing that here with just making the calendar all black. And this is so satisfying because February 1st is on a Sunday and February 28th is on a Saturday, so it makes a perfect rectangle. By the way, does anyone else start with Sundays on their calendar overviews but start with Monday when they make weekly spreads? I've been so used to seeing Sunday starting full calendars that I have a hard time making Monday ones, but then pairing Saturday and Sunday together at the end makes a lot of sense for my weekly spreads. So I don't know, it feels like I should be starting with Monday on overview calendars too, but that habit in me cannot be broken. And continuing with introducing more black to this theme, I drew those classic black lettered beads to spell out events underneath the calendar. Don't even get me started on this gray shadow thing I was trying to do with the bracelets. I took some inspiration from the creator at Bujo for Stars, and she did this with hers, and it for some reason turned out so much better on hers. Sorry, I'm doing that thing again where I'm beating myself up, but this one is just frustrating because I sort of don't know what I did wrong. Like, I don't know how I messed up adding gray little strokes, but okay, anyway. I wondered if I could cover it up with my white gel pen, and I couldn't. So I just owned it, but chose not to do it on the title beads because I was afraid I'd hate it. As you can see, I did decide to go ahead and add my two other larger bracelets that I was unsure about, and I went back in with my white gel pen to highlight all of the colored beads like I did with the title beads. And then in some of the empty spaces, I added some loose beads to fill it out a little more. I decided to do one more poll on my Instagram stories asking if I should do a gold outline on the colorful beads, because by this point I was like, is it too soft? But my followers once again proved to me that I was overthinking it and it didn't need the outline, so I kept it as is. It was really fun though to have some input on this from other people, and I do that from time to time on my Instagram, so make sure to follow me over there if you haven't yet. Oh, I quickly wanted to mention that I usually edit out me erasing my pencil sketches, but I wanted to keep it in this time because I think it's really important you do that before going in with your marker, because it's a lot harder to erase after you go over it with ink. So this is just me keeping in that little tip for you. Next is my habit tracker. I typically like to do the same lettering style that I did from the title page for the rest of my trackers, but I was really itching to do that white and black bead, so I instead made it so that the February and calendar beads had their own special colored bead moment. So I wrote habit in the white beads and tracker just in the same capital letters underneath. By the way, for the fine liners, I'm using a Pigma Micron fine liner in 08 for the letters of the white beads and a 03 for literally everything else. So I'm drawing my satisfying perfect rectangles for my mini calendars, and I'm tracking 9 habits this month. I'm thinking of drawing in little hearts each time I complete a habit because for February, I of course try to fit in as many hearts as I can. And since February is such a short month, I had a lot of room at the bottom, so I decided to keep going with drawing larger bracelets. This time though, I decided to do a mix of color beads and letter beads on one bracelet. I know a lot of times we see a word or someone's name or phrases, and a little more recently music related words, but I didn't really want to do it on the cover page. I thought it would have looked a little forced because I would have wanted it to relate to February probably. So then it would have just been like love, hearts, Valentine, like I don't know. But it did make sense for me to put it on my habit tracker because I had this idea to write encouraging phrases to keep me going with completing my habits. So I made a "you got it" and "focus" bracelet, which I think turned out so cute. And then did the same thing from the title page where I added loose beads in some blank space. I want each page to have a good amount of black and white and color if I can. And now I thought this page was missing a little bit of color. So for the habit titles, I took out my same markers I've been using to highlight a little oval above each calendar and write each habit in my white gel pen. I'm basically replicating what I did with the title beads without the actual bead part because drawing beads would have been too squished. And then I finished it off with the same details from earlier, highlighting each colored bead with a white gel pen and adding a gray shadow. Okay, next is the mood tracker. I did the exact same title style as the habit tracker. And I of course had to track my mood by making one giant friendship bracelet where I'm going to track my mood by coloring in beads. This spread is going to look pretty blank for now because I want colors to represent my moods and I can't fill this out yet. So for now I left my sketched out pencil mark that I made so that I could evenly count 28 beads. And I just put numbers 1 through 28 in those sketches, and I'll eventually color the circle beads over each number with the color that matches my mood. I used 5 colors consistently in this theme, and I only track 4 moods, so that left 1 extra color. I used the dark pink as my extra and left room for some decorative beads on this bracelet, so all I did was color those in with that dark pink for now. I think this will add a little something extra once it's all filled out too, especially in case I'm really heavy on one color for the month. Speaking of the colors, I haven't really touched on that, but I do really like this color palette I ended up going with. I haven't done a good pastel-ish color palette in a while, and I figured February was the perfect time. And I like having the 2 different shades of pink for this month, obviously, and it helped to have at least one darker color to balance out the black too. I was looking up beads online for some inspiration, and I found these white beads just with black hearts on them, and that turned out especially nice for this spread because I know it's going to be lacking a little on the white and black side of things when this is all filled out. So I only put a couple of those on the blank space. I didn't want it to look too crowded. And I also found smiley face colored beads, which was a perfect way to show my little color key for my moods. Next is my gratitude spread. You're not going to see really anything new here. I'm doing the same black and white bead to write gratitude, and then I'm grateful for underneath with my capital lettering, and I numbered 1 through 28 so I could write one thing that I'm grateful for every day. And for the remaining empty space, I drew large beaded bracelets and loose colored beads like I did on the title page. So let's talk a little bit while I'm finishing up this page, because something I have not mentioned yet is that February is my birthday month. My birthday is on February 14th, so yes, I was born on Valentine's Day. A lot of people ask how I feel about being born on Valentine's Day, and there was not one time in my life that I didn't like it. To me, it's just a day all about love, whether it's with a romantic partner or just the people that you love in your everyday life. It's just a great excuse to give extra attention to the people who mean the most to you, and I think that's cute, so I like sharing my day with that message. I'm a pretty big birthday person, to be honest. Not in the way where I do something big every year or anything. I just kind of turn into a little kid again and get excited every single year. I am absolutely that full-grown adult who will always take off of work for my birthday and make sure the day is all about me, even if that means staying inside and doing my hobbies all day, if that's what I want to do. That being said, I've sort of noticed this theme in my bullet journal unintentionally, where I turn into a younger version of myself in February. In my early bullet journaling years, I tried to do this Valentine's Day party at school theme, very specific. Then I did a Y2K theme, which was so fun, and I want to recreate it. Then I did a Candy Hearts theme. Maybe doesn't fit this topic so much, but like, kind of kid-ish, right? Last year I did cross-stitching, which was inspired by this cross-stitch piece that I've held on to since I was born. And I don't know, I feel like all of these have this nostalgic or sentimental vibe, because I guess this is the time of year I reflect on my life and also just turn into a little kid again myself. Speaking of being a little kid though, I certainly am not one in reality, because this year I'm turning 33, which is absolutely crazy to me. Even though I totally do get excited for my birthday every year, it gets a little tougher when you reach your 30s. I hate to break it to you. My 30s have been great so far, but I definitely still have a lot that I'd love to do in my 30s, so that aging part freaks me out a little bit. And I think that's the perfect segue to my final page I'm making, which I'm titling Charms to Carry at 33. I just did my usual capital letters for the Charms to Carry at part, and then made a long horizontal 33 bracelet, which I thought was so cute. I still have so much to learn in life and reminders that I need to give myself every single day. So I thought it'd be cute to dedicate a little birthday spread to myself by making beaded keychains with some of those things. I made star and heart clasps for the charms to hang off of, just with that gray marker I've been using for the bracelet shadows. The first charm is You Are Strong, because I really want to work on being more confident in myself and being authentically myself. The next is Balance, because I think I've been slacking a bit on handling everything in my life. I want to be better about reaching out and responding to my loved ones to show how much I appreciate them, exercise more, make time for all my hobbies, keep up with housework stuff, you know, all the things I feel like we all try to do. I made a Be Here charm to remind myself to be present. I am for sure an overthinker, thinking the worst thing is going to happen, but there's truly no point in that, because it ultimately is a story I'm making up in my head. And lastly, I wrote Breathe as a reminder to stay calm and that everything's going to be okay. My anxiety sometimes tries to trick me into thinking I'm not going to survive something, but I always do. I can't wait to see what 33 has in store for me. I'm most excited because my sister is having a baby that's due this month, so I'm going to be a first-time auntie. Her due date is actually one day after my birthday, so we'll see what happens. But I'm very excited to share being an Aquarius with my little niece or nephew. I'm excited for all the goals that I have this year that challenge me to get out of my comfort zone, to continue sharing my journal online that I'm having so much fun with, and just to see what I learned throughout the year, because I always feel like I learn so much and become a better person for it. Here's the final flip through of February's beaded friendship bracelet theme. It definitely has a very fun and nostalgic feel to it, which just makes me smile when I look at it. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!